Okay, guys, I'm going to begin with my session today. It's a live session, so you can always watch the recorded video. So, grid method problems, you'll find them on the net part A. Um, Definitely, you'll get one question. If not in part A, then part B. So, today I'm going to discuss these 5 questions. These are basically Venn diagram questions, two circle Venn diagram questions, but the idea is to make you familiar with the grid method, which can be used for complicated part A or one of the part B questions if it comes. All right, let's begin. So, in the grid method, we usually categorize 4 categories are there. So we categorize them by drawing 3 vertical lines and 3 horizontal lines, and the total always comes in this box out here. Yeah. So what do I mean by categorizing them? So I'm going to go slow with the first question. So if you read the first question, it says out of 100 families surveyed, 40 used neither juice A nor juice B. Okay. So by looking at the question, I know that this is something about juice A and juice B. Yeah. If I read further, it says 30 used only juice A, and for every family that used both juices, two used only juice B. Okay. So how many of the 100 families surveyed use both juices? So my category being, if I take A and B and not A, not B, this category does not make sense because I don't have a box over here for juice A and not juice A, meaning I don't have a family that has juice A and then it does not have juice A. Both things cannot be possible. So in order to save time, you need to practice enough of these questions so that you can categorize them right in the first go. So I'm going to go with juice A, families don't have juice A, juice B, and families that don't have juice B. And the total I'm going to write down out here. Okay. Now I'll just go with the information. Out of the 100 families surveyed, 40 used neither juice A nor juice B. So neither juice A nor juice B is not A and not B, this common square out here. 30 used only juice A. So when I look at this box out here, this is 30 because it says families having juice A but not B, which means only A. So that is 30 use only juice A. So now I got my total out here, which is 70, and I've got my total out here, which is 30. Okay. Yeah. Moving on further, and for every family that used both juices, yeah, that is, let's say this is X. Every family that used both juices, two used only juice B, a very complicated statement. So this is how it can be interpreted that if you won $1, then I earn $2. So if you earn $2, then I earn double $4. So it goes that way. So every family that used both juices, two used only juice B. So only juice B is families having B but not A. So this is 2x. And the question is, how many of the 100 families surveyed used both juices? So X is what we need to find out. And we've got 3X, which is X plus 2X equal to 30. And that's it. X is 10. And I have solved my question. Once you get 10, just make sure you write it down here and you tally the final outcomes. So this is 20 and 40, 60. This is 10 and 30, 40. So I know 40, 60 adds up to 100. So everything's correct. And my answer would be 10 out here. Got it? Okay. Moving on to the next question. Question number 2. Out of 20 families, 10 had at least two houses, 12 had cars, and 2 had less than two houses and did not have a car. How many of the families had at least two houses and a car? So the word at least is going to confuse you. So first important thing is you categorize them. So 3 vertical lines, 3 horizontal lines. Write down the total out here. Now let's look at the category. It is about houses and not having houses. It's about cars and not having cars. Okay. So now out here, they're not only simply saying houses, but they're also saying at least. So consider this to be greater than equal to two houses. Okay. Greater than equal to two houses. And the other one being obviously less than two houses. That way, you know that the first greater than equal to 2h means at least two houses. Now let's fill in the squares. Out of 20 families, 10 had at least two houses. So remember, 10 had at least two houses, so 10 comes here. All right. 12 had cars, so 12 comes here. Yeah. Now, had they mentioned, 12 had cars only, then it would come here. Then it would come here in this square out here. Cars only. But they're not using the word only, so 12 had cars, so it'll be out here in the row of the C. and two had less than two houses and did not have a car. So less than two houses meaning this portion out here, this column, not having houses and not having a car. So this is your two out here. This is two. Okay. Yeah. Now if this is 12, this is 8. Yeah. This is 10 because 10 and 10, 20. Yeah. Now if this is 8, this is 2, then this is 6. And if this is 10 and 6, then this is 4. And once you got this as 4, then this is 8. And you have filled in your blocks. Yeah. So how many of the families had at least two houses and a car? At least two houses and a car, meaning 4 is your answer. Because 4 are the number of families who have a car also and have at least two houses. So you can go through this question again. 4 is my answer. Question 3. Out of 100 schools, 60 are Hindi medium only, 30 are English medium. How many schools are English medium only if 20 schools are both Hindi and English medium? So we know there are two categories. So again, three vertical columns, three horizontal columns. 100 schools total comes here. Then English, not English, Hindi, not Hindi. Okay. So out of 100 schools, 60 are Hindi medium only. So Hindi medium only is this one. That is schools which have Hindi but not English. Okay. 30 are English medium. 30 are English medium. So 30 will come here because they're not saying only. They're saying 30 meaning not only. So 30 out here. So if 30 is out here, 70 is out here, that adds up to 100. This is 70. Then not English and not Hindi is 10. Yeah. Now let's go further. How many schools are English medium only? English medium only meaning this is the part that they're asking. English but not Hindi. If 20 schools are both English, Hindi and English medium, 20 schools are both Hindi and English medium. So I know this is 80, this will be 20, and therefore if this is 20, this is 10, and X is 10. And tally again, make sure everything works out. So your answer is 10 out here. How many schools are English medium only? 10. So I'm going to solve these questions using Venn diagrams. The idea being to understand grid methods. Question 4. 500 students participate in at least one of the two games, badminton, baseball, or both. If 300 play badminton and 400 play baseball, how many students do not participate in any of the games? Okay, so I've got two categories again, three vertical columns, three horizontal columns, 500 out here total. So for badminton, I'm going to use A and not playing badminton, baseball and not baseball. So B is for baseball, A is for badminton. Okay. So if 300 play badminton, so 300 play badminton. So badminton is A. So this is 200 therefore. And 400 play baseball. So this is 400. So this is 100. How many students do not participate in any of the games? Meaning how many students out of the 500 do not play badminton or baseball? Now you must be wondering, how do I solve this question? So the idea is this part out here, this line out here. 500 students participate in at least one of the two games. It means that all the students are playing one of the two games, at least, meaning they could be playing both games also. But none of the 500, yeah, exist that do not play any of the games. So therefore, this answer is 0 out here. Only then you can go ahead and solve the question. Got it? And it adds up. So how many students do not participate in any of the games? So that is 0. So you'll get better clarity when I solve this using the Venn diagram. Question 5. Out of 70 students who gave their biology and chemistry exams, 40 passed in biology, 40 passed in chemistry, 40 passed in both subjects. How many failed in both? Again, two categories, three vertical columns, three horizontal columns. Write down the total 70 out here. You have bio and not bio, chemistry and not chemistry. So out of the 70 who gave their biology and chemistry exams, 40 passed in biology. So 30 out here, and 40 passed in chemistry. So 30 out here. If 40 passed in both the subjects, how many failed in both? How many failed in both? So now we know this is 40 and this is 40, this is 0. We know this is 30, that is 0, so this is 30. And we know this is 40, then this has to be 0. Therefore, the answer is how many failed in both is 30. Okay. Now, how would you solve this question 5 using Venn diagram? So quickly draw your Venn diagrams. You have the total as 70, you have bio and you have chemistry. Okay. And then 40 passed in biology. So this is 40 and this is 40 for chemistry. Yeah. So then if you're saying out of 70 students, if 40 students are in chemistry, 14 bio, then obviously it's 80. No, but there's something common, 40 passed in both. So when then 40 passed in both comes in the center, yeah, then 0 is only chemistry. So people who only pass chemistry is 0. People who only pass biology is 0. Understood? This portion, this shaded portion means only category. The entire circle means chemistry 40, chemistry, biology 40, like that. It works. So now we know that out of 70, the total shaded, the total region within the circles, that is, I'll draw with a different color. I'll use a blue color. So this region out here, this region out here, and this region out here, there are 3 regions. That total is 40. So everything within the circles is 40. What is outside the circles? I'll use N. So that'll be 30, obviously, because this 30 and this entire thing within the region should be adding up to 70. So 30 is my answer here. 30 is my answer here. It works out in both the manner. But as you can see, if you were to use Venn diagrams, then it could have been complicated. Okay. Moving on to question 4 using Venn diagrams. So if I were to use Venn diagrams, I'll have my circle of badminton and baseball. So badminton A and baseball B, yeah, and 500 outside. Okay, yeah. Now, if 300 play badminton, 400 play baseball, how many students do not participate in any of the games? So I know that out here, if I had asked how many students play both the games, then I could use my A plus B minus A intersection B, or in other words, A plus B minus both is equal to A union B. I could use that. Understood and get my answer. So that is A is 300, B is 400 minus X is equal to 500. So X is equal to 700 minus 500. So I get 200. So I would have got 200 in the center. That makes only badminton 100, only baseball 200. And if I add these, it gives me 500. Yeah. So all the 500 are within the region. So how many students do not participate in any of the games? So that'll be 0. So that way, this question, if used grid method, would be easier to solve. But then it depends from student to student. Okay, moving on to next question. Hang on. Yeah, question 3. Okay, right. So there are 100 students out here, 100 schools out here. Hindi medium, English medium. So Hindi, English. Yeah. So out of 100, 60 are Hindi medium only. So 60 will come here. 30 are English medium. So 30 will come outside. How many schools are English medium only? So this is your X region out here. If 20 are both Hindi and English. So 60 plus 20 plus obviously this is 60 and 20, 80. So X should be 20, right? No, because this entire thing is 30. So hang on a minute. See, a dodgy question. Without the grade, you could have got into trouble. So if 20 schools are both Hindi and English medium, how many schools are English medium only? So now I know that 60 plus 20, okay, and X is not equal to 100. No, is not equal to 100. So X out here, I think you can directly get using this 30. If 20 is inside, this is 30 outside, then this is 10. So I get X as 10. English medium only is 10. And the question would have been, how many schools are out of 100 schools, how many schools are neither Hindi medium or English medium? So that way the answer would have been 10 schools. Yeah. So, well, I should have framed it that way, to be honest. It would be very difficult to solve if you were using Venn diagrams. Okay, anyway. Question number 2. Out of the 20 families, at least houses. So I'll put at least greater than equal to 2 houses and cars out here. Yeah. 10 had at least 2 houses. So this is 10. 12 had cars. So this is 12. 2 had less than 2 houses and did not have a car. So my n is equal to 2. How many of the families had at least 2 houses and a car? So X is what we need to find out. So one way is to obviously the total minus A union minus the outside part, total minus the outside part is equal to A union B. And then once you get that A union B, you can solve it using A plus B minus both. Yeah. So total is 20 minus 2 is 18. So 18 is equal to 10 plus 12 minus X. So X is 22 minus 18, which is 4. Another way to solve this is that this region, therefore, would be 10 minus X. This region would be 12 minus X. Yeah. So I know that everything within the region would have been 18, 20 minus 2, 18. So 18 is equal to 10 minus X plus X for this one, and then plus 12 minus X. So this X and X cancels. You have 22 minus X, same thing, but just another approach. And finally, the first question. So you got families using juice A, using juice B, 100 families. 40 used neither juice A nor juice B, so N is equal to 40. 30 used only juice A, so 30 comes only region. And for every household that use both juices, that is X, 2 use only juice B, so this is 2X. How many of the 100 families surveyed used both juices? So we have to find out X. So all right. So now I know that 100 minus 40, 60. 60 is equal to, that is 100 minus 40 is A union B. A union B is equal to 30 plus X plus 2X. So 30 is equal to 3X. So 10 is equal to X. So I got stuck out here for a second because I was wondering what is the total of B or what is the total of A? Because those totals are not given out here. Only the only part is given. This was a good question. Anyway, moving on. So this question actually would have been difficult solving it using Venn diagrams. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve a complicated part B of the physical sciences question. It is a probability question, but I'm solving it so that you understand the importance of the grid method. So there is this one question that came in part B. It was about percentages of boys and girls and percentages. So yeah, that one out there. So let's look at it. So you have a class of 60% boys and 40% girls. Yeah. Now, if I have to solve it using the grid method, then I'm going to use three horizontal and vertical lines. Yeah. And then in an examination, so you have boys and not boys. Obviously, it'll be boys, and I think my category is wrong. It'll be boys and girls, and not boys and not girls. Okay. No, I think it was right the first time. Boys and not boys. I mean, uh, out here, out here, 100. So people who passed and not passed, basically. So class had 60% boys and 40% girls. In examination, 8% of the boys and 12% of the girls got an A grade. If a randomly selected student had an A grade, what is the probability that the student is male? Okay. Okay. So a class had 60% boys, yeah, and 40% girls. So if I use this as 100%, yes, then in that case, 60% boys will be here like that, yeah, and 40% girls would be coming here like this, okay? So in an examination, 8% of the boys, yeah, so 8% of the boys and 12% of the girls got an A grade. If randomly selected student had an A grade, what is the probability that the student is male? And I think category wise, boys and girls, male, female, not male, that would become wrong. Anyway, let's see how I can proceed with this one. So in an examination, 8% of the boys, so 8% of the boys, yeah, and 12% of the girls got an A grade. So if I were to use this as A grade, not having A grade, boys and girls. See, very important mistake out here. I should have put A grade, not A grade, and boys and girls. So boys and girls, A grade and not A grade. Okay. So that is 100%, 60% at 60% boys, correct, and 40% girls. 8% of the boys, 8% of the boys, so 8% of 60%, 8% of the boys and 12% of the girls, so 12% of 40% had an A grade. If a randomly selected student had an A grade, what is the probability that the student is male? So I think since everything is in percentage, my answer will be in percentage if I simply just add these two numbers, because that's what they want. If a randomly selected student had an A grade, what is the probability that the student is male? So all I have to do is take it, assume that this 100% is 100. Yeah, I'll assume it to be 200 and solve this question. I'll just do the math again. Okay. So 8% of 60% of 100. If I were to use 8% of 60% of 100, then it'll be 8% of 60. Yeah. That plus 12% of 40% of 100. So that's 12% of 40. Yeah. So 8% of 60 is how much? It is 24 by 5. Plus 12% of 40 is how much? It's 24 by 5. So it is 2 times 24 over 5. Yeah. Which is 48 by 5. And remember, I have to divide it by 100 because it will be over the entire 100. So 48 over 500. So I've made some error. Definitely I made some error because I had solved this to be 4 half. So what is the error I'm getting? 8% of 60%. So 480 plus 8% of 60%. So it'll be 480 over 10,000. So 0.0480. And 12% of 40% is 480 upon 10,000, 0.0480. So where am I going wrong? If a randomly selected student had an A grade, what is the probability that the student is male? My bad. So this total, my bad, I'll just go back. So they're asking not how many students had A grade, they're asking how many students who had A grade were male. How many students who had A grade were male? So what is the probability that those were male? So then obviously I'll go with the idea that 100% is 100. So 8% of 60% of 100 is 8% of 60. Yeah, which is coming out to be a, I think 24 by 5 is what we got. Yeah. 12% of 40 also came out to be 24 by 5. So therefore, this is my total. 48 over 5 is my total. And out of that 48 over 5, how many are boys or how many are males? That's what they're asking. So out of the A grade students, how many are boys? So 24 over 5. And therefore, the answer becomes 24 over 48, which is half. Now I've got the same answer had I taken 100% as 200. Okay. So the reason I'm doing all the math, I would have simply just taken 8% of 60. Yeah. Which is, I think, 0.048 plus 0.048. And on the top, it will be 0.048 because this is my A graders. And out of A graders, how many are males? So these are the males. So I would have got my answer half anyway. Yeah. Very cheeky question. Anyway, so that's how you can use the grid method to solve your question. But the important thing is you should know how to categorize them right. Okay, that's it for the grid method video. I hope the streaming went well. Okay, thank you.